understand about various substation equipments. In substation, we have various equipments. The important substation equipments are power transformers, high voltage fuses, high voltage circuit breakers, protective relaying, high voltage disconnect switches and isolators, lightning arresters, conductors or bus bars, storage batteries, reactors and capacitors, high voltage insulators, voltage regulators, measuring instruments and carrier communication equipments. These are the important components or equipments of a substation. Let us understand how these components or equipments are useful in the working of a substation. When it comes to power transformers are generally used for stepping up the voltage. As we all know, stepping down and stepping up of the voltage can be done using a transformer, but the power transformer in this case are used for the stepping up the voltage for transmission, generally at the generating stations, and further it can be used for stepping down voltage in case of distribution. In the case of substations which are used for stepping down entirely at the feeder level. Now, usually naturally cooled oil immersed type of transformers, generally they use 2 winding 3-phase transformers are used, and the rating would be up to 10 MVA. Higher than 10 MVA also, usually the cooling methods will be air blast, and if you want very high rating, then we can go for oil cooling, water cooling and air blast cooling can also be used. So generally transformers are designed to have a maximum efficiency. So considerable designs have been taken care in order to have leakage reactors and other parameters to address the issue of leakage reactors. Next is high voltage fuse. We all know that fuse is a device. Generally it is used for the interruption of an electrical circuit and a short circuit, or whenever there is an excessive overload. It generally consists of a fusing element in the form of a conductor or a metal conductor, and also we have a fuses, a case or cartridge type. They generally hold the fusible element, and when the part which generally melts or opens up during the overload is called as fusing element. And there are different types of fuses we come across. We have cartridge type HV-HRC fuses, liquid type HV-HRC fuses, high voltage fuses. So this is how fuses are useful in our substation. Next component or equipment is high voltage circuit breakers. Generally, fuse and circuit breaker work in coordination. Now, circuit breakers are mechanical devices. They are generally designed to close or open the contacts whenever there is a abnormal condition which is seen in the electrical circuit. So we can say that a circuit breaker is nothing but a switching and current interruptible device. It consists of a fixed and moving contacts. They are generally touching with each other, and they carry the current under normal condition. That is, when circuit breaker is closed, normal rated current will be flowing through the same. Now, when we say a fault occurs on any part of the power system, the trip coils of the breaker gets energized, or the moving contacts are pulled apart by some machine, thus opening the circuit. Now, the separation of the current carrying contact generally produces an arc-like thing, and the current is thus able to continue until the discharge is ceased or closed. Now, this production of arc will definitely delay the current interruption process, but also it will generate, it is going to generate excessive heat, so which sometimes may cause damage to the system, or breaker itself might be damaged. Therefore, the main problem which comes across in the circuit breaker is production of arc that has to be extinguished within a short possible time, so that it is not going to heat up and affect the entire process. Next is relay. As we have studied now, the fuse and the circuit breaker. Next protective device is protective relaying. Now what does this protective relaying do? This protective scheme or relaying generally used for the protection of power system components again against the abnormal conditions such as faults which might be causing, and protective relaying as well as circuit breakers do work together in order to eliminate the fault or open up the circuit whenever fault occurs. So we can say that protective relay functions as a sensing device. So it senses the fault, then determines the exact location of, and finally it sends a tripping command to the circuit breaker. Now the circuit breaker, after getting the command from this particular protective relay, it disconnects the faulty element. So generally the different types of relays employed are over current relays, under voltage, over voltage relays, differential relays, negative sequence or zero sequence relays. These are the different components we generally use. Next important components what they use is high voltage disconnect switches or isolators. We all know that why the switch is used. So here high voltage disconnect switches are used either for making or breaking the circuit. Whenever there is a make or break, we will operate it. Then isolators operate under the load and no load conditions. They are used in addition to circuit breakers and are provided on each side of the circuit breaker to provide isolation whenever is needed. And next component is lightning arresters. As the name itself suggests, it's a surge arrestor which is normally working between phase and ground at the substation. Generally it allows or it protects the substation equipment from the lightning and switching surges. Next we have conductors or bus bars. So the term bus bar is used for the main bar of the conductor which is carrying an electric current, wherein many connections are made to this particular bus bar or a conductor. So bus bars are very much convenient of connecting different switches and other equipment into various arrangements. Then we use high voltage insulators. So we have station insulators. They are generally used for generating stations and also substations. They are used to fix and insulate the bus bar systems, and they may be subdivided into passed or bushing type also. Then we also use voltage regulators, storage batteries, reactors and capacitors, and also measuring instruments in order to measure different ammeter. In the measuring instrument we use ammeters, voltmeters, wattmeters, kWh meters, KVRL meters, power factor meters, then reactive volt ampere meters. Different equipments are installed so that any measurements can be done conveniently. Then also we use communication equipments, carrier communication, such that these equipments are installed in the substation for different communication technologies. So these are the various components and equipments usage in the substations. Hope you understood. Thank you.